Is it live?
It's live, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got to tweet it out, though. Are people here?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay. Send me some of the link.
Yep.
Nola had the big hit to start this thing. 2 RBI single on that big strike.
I'm going to say side-by-side live stream or something.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'll do
KC
positive
radio.
vibes only.
Has been outstanding. Probably explain this to me. Curveball from Bassett with 2 strikes. That's when he got the hit 0-2, and now a slider up again. Both pitches up in the zone. Not meant to be there. But when you make a mistake, Nola so far has been able to capitalize twice tonight.
All right, we got 73 people in there. Okay. Just went live from the KFC radio studio. This is a Travis Matthew live stream. This is actually legit the most comfortable hoodie in the world, which is the only thing on me that's comfortable right now because this is absolutely brutal. Top 6, Mets down 4-0, 2 on after a hit batter and a base knock. I can't do it anymore. If you want to come see the agony and the pain from me, you can come check it here. I just can't watch an elimination game with Frank Fleming. It's not. I know you guys love it. I watched too many hours of this fucking team and did too many podcasts and too many streams to then just have some fraud doing his dumb shtick over and over again into your fucking eardrums. I can't do it. So pull up both streams. You can watch him. You can watch me. Do whatever you want. I can't do it anymore. But shout out to Travis Matthew. Both streams for you guys. If we can we just need like a 2-run bomb. Like just get something going here. First, what you got to do is get out of this fucking inning. Ground ball. Okay. So all you got to do is just get like, even give me 1 run. Just get something. Because right now, this fucking, it feels impossible, insurmountable 4 runs. 2 runs, maybe, then things can change. Then it can be, you're a bloop and a blast away. Right now, 4-0 is absolutely atrocious. And the worst fucking part of all is that this is what, like, the Mets have done. Like game 1 when the Mets lost, it was because of the long ball. And I was able to be like, fuck, we're just not built right. You need to have home run hitters. You need to have big bombs in order to win in the playoffs. Tonight, they're showing that you can win the way the Mets were constructed all fucking year long. And that's the real heartbreak of it all. Because you can just get hits here and a stolen base there and a clutch hit there, here and there. And next thing you know, you are up 4-0. So it's like bullshit. Anybody who's like, you can't win this way. You can. You just got to be clutch about it. And the Mets have obviously been far from fucking clutch, getting perfect gamed through 4 innings or whatever it was. Riding the fucking high from last night. I came in. I said it to so many people. I was like, I'm confident, which is why I'm not confident. It's famous last words. Like, the minute you feel good about this team is when they absolutely fuck you. So I was like, maybe can I make myself nervous? Can I somehow get nervous? And I really thought Bassett was at some points in the season such a fucking gamer. Like 8 innings when you needed him to give you depth and length and fucking shut him down. And he did it. And obviously didn't do it against the Braves. And I was like, we're going to get that old Bassett back. The Bassett Hound is coming back next start. And he just did it again. And the crazy thing is, it's not like he's, again, giving up these bombs. It's like he just gets into trouble. And all of a sudden you look up and it's like, wait, the fucking bases are loaded, Like he just walks a couple, and then you get like an excuse me single. Next thing you know, the bases are loaded. And then the bottom of the order absolutely butt fucks you. Like this series, they put up the number before. Soto and Machado are like, you got Soto showing bunt up there. He's so out of whack, he's fucking bunting. And Machado's done nothing. He's striking out left and right. And it's Trent Grisham who's got that Connor Gillespie blood running through his veins tonight. That's going to haunt me forever. Hey, Sung Kim or whatever his fucking name is. Him and Trent Grisham are the reason the Mets are going to go home this year. Fuck. Check the ears. Check the fucking ears, Buck. I don't know what's going on with Joe Musgrove's ears, but they are shimmering. And the internet has been saying it. Buck hopped on Twitter. What's on your ears, you cheating motherfucker? Could you imagine if he had? Imagine. I mean, he's
right now.
I mean, his ears have been red and shiny and glistening for the whole game. And he's at 59 pitches through 5. Yep. I mean, I genuinely don't think he's cheating, but his ears don't look like that. And it's worth the fucking shot, right? I'll say this, though. If it's not, and then these guys fuck you, like, then you look like a total asshole. It's worth a shot when someone's got a perfect game going against you. I mean, right? I don't know. It feels petty. You know what? Can you get me the link? I'm gonna send it to Castellani.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, how do you check it? Do you just rub his ears?
I guess so. He looks sus up there.
I mean, he has big, fucking shiny, slippery ears, and he's been going to his ears a lot. Could you imagine if they were just like, yeah, you got it?
Checking the ears.
This is wild. This is wild. But he's going to be pissed. Back to work. All right. I mean, that looks bad. That's tough. That's a tough look. I appreciate Buck doing it. I really do. Are you kidding? I mean, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I don't blame you. Like, if when they win this game now, if they win this game, they have every right to be like, you little fucking bitches. I'll give you that much. But an elimination game? I mean, what if? What if they were like, dude, there's something there? Do we have to let him in if he
yeah, help
will I
up
see
right
above
here.
there? Okay.
And then
I gotta talk baseball with my man Castellani. It's a tough scene. He got this message 404, nothing working. I sent to the link.
Try again.
Can you send? Do you have his number?
I do not, but I'll resend that to you. Might have been a bad link. See if that one works.
Okay. Maybe also just get him off his game a little bit. Like, who knows?
We weren't gonna let the whole game go by without checking that ear.
You have to. You have to. Just get on base. Give me a rally. Just get this guy out of the fucking game. He's at 60 goddamn pitches. He's gonna throw a fucking complete game at this point. You at least got to have him pitching out of the stretch. You at least do something to fucking switch his style up a little. He's just fucking dealing. Yeah. What do I click? Stream. My man, here we are.
What's going on? Are we live right now?
We are live right now. I mean, you got to check his ears because they're fucking glistening and he's been dealing. And I know the internet is probably chirping and I appreciate Buck going out there. If it doesn't yield anything though, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you're in a position like what you guys are in right now, you have to do anything. Like it's
throw out all the stops, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's for what it's worth, I don't think he's fucking cheating. He's pitching his ass off right now.
I don't either. But like when something, I mean, his ears just looked super fucking shiny and slippery, and I couldn't. It's at least worth a shot. But now they have every right to be like, you little petty bitches. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what's funny to me is I'm convinced that this was Twitter based. Like that somebody can't like, cause
no doubt
is that somebody in the dugout went to him and was like, dude, just check his ears.
I mean, that's modern baseball, where like someone's on Twitter or someone's getting a text that's like, "Hey, man, we're looking at shots from the TV. It looks super weird, you know.
Yeah.
Why not try it?"
Even if he doesn't get popped for it, which, like I said, he's not cheating. At the very least, you run the possibility of throwing him off his rhythm.
Yeah, well, that's what I said right before he popped on. Is like, do something to get him off of his game, whether it's getting a fucking hit, getting a run, or running out there and accusing him of fucking cheating.
Right. Well, I mean, it's because they did I think a part of it is a response to what they did to Bassett tonight, which is the amount of times they stepped out, the amount of times that they. But dude, that's baseball, man. Like you got to do what you got to do to, especially in a winner take all game.
Don't you think the pitch comm is like more problems than not? I don't know if it was a response to the Astros. Because like, why was that?
No, it was that's all it was. It was a complete overreaction to what happened in 2017. And the
you want to come on, big man?
I'll come on for a minute.
We got positive vibes only here. We got my man Clem. I said we got to get Castellani in here talking.
Clem.
How about the fucking ear thing actually coming to fruition?
We just said. I mean,
we were just talking about it. Yeah,
like someone on Twitter here. You pop on this.
No. I'll go on the knees. I'm good.
I mean, like someone on Twitter says to Buck, like, you pop on this. Fucking check his ears.
I'll go on the knees. I'm good.
Someone on Twitter says to Buck, like, you pop on this. Fucking check his ears.
I'll go on the knees. I'm good.
Someone on Twitter says to Buck, like, fucking check his ears.
I'll go on the knees. I'm good.
Someone on Twitter says to Buck, like, fucking check his ears. Says the Buck, like, fucking check his ears.
Am I muted right now? Shit, did I do something?
Yeah.
Uh,
Now we're good.
I think we're good.
Okay, we're good now. Yeah, sorry. That's on me. It was on my Twitter feed. The live feed was up.
Oh,
so
okay.
There was a double feed there. My bad. Sorry about that.
All good. Yeah, Clem, slide in here for a couple innings. I can't do it. I mean, it's just not right to ruin the fucking season like this. To watch.
No, look, Kev. You know what?
Well, I'm looking to shake the juju up.
Come on, God damn, man,
dude. Trent Grisham is a fucking murderer.
I mean, he's on the fucking Mount Rushmore now.
Man, you took the words out of my mouth. He has to be added to the postseason.
It's Connor Gillespie. It's Trent Grisham. It's like when you've got Juan Soto bunting, and you've got Manny Machado striking out every other at bat, but it's fucking Hae-Sung Kim and Trent Grisham. It's like, are you telling me that my season's coming to an end because I didn't even know who Trent Grisham was? Never even heard his fucking name until this series.
I knew, but he had a shitty year. He's had good years in the past. He had a bad year this year. He had a 685 OPS, I believe. Like he was not good. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing is my biggest concern for you guys was I thought we're going to get into a situation in which Darvish and Juan Soto just beat the piss out of you.
Yeah.
Now Darvish did. Darvish was great.
Yeah.
But Soto has been, I'm not going to call him a non-factor because he always puts together a good at-bat.
Yeah, but as far as Soto's standards go,
it wasn't 2019 World Series Soto where he was just piping pitches.
I mean, I told these guys, I expected like a home run per night from him this weekend. I was like, he's gonna one a night for 3 straight games. And so as far as I'm concerned, Soto, as far as Soto's standards, it has been a non-factor. You're right. He always works the count and, all that shit. But, I would have signed for this 3 games of basically, I don't think he's driven in a run, maybe one, I don't know, whatever it is. Like, I would have signed for, if you told me that Machado and Soto were going to go like 7 or like 4 for 30 or whatever the fuck those numbers were, I would have been like, we win this series. But it's always, it's always something. It's like the bottom quarter of the San Diego Padres has got to be some of the worst players left in the playoffs, right?
It's like Ray. What did you think of her? Like, I thought of the most harmless thing, something that could never hurt me. The bottom of the San Diego Padres batting line.
Yeah.
Fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's something you never think in a million years you think would kill you, and then they just come and crush fucking Lower Manhattan. I
don't even mean it to like. I mean, I am. I'm talking shit to Padres fans. I don't mean it in a way to be like fuck those guys because they're obviously absolutely annihilating us right now. But out of all the teams, 12 teams, and the bottom of the lineup of every. And I will say this now. These guys have every right to laugh in the Mets' fucking face, to put them up on their bulletin board forever. You accuse someone of cheating just because they are absolutely dicking you down, and then you prove like, look, I got nothing, and you still go out there. I mean,
he did wipe his ear on his. Did you see that? He did wipe the ear on the jersey.
As soon as they came out, he's like,
Infowars.
Yeah, no, I mean he's. You know what's weird is this 4-0 game feels like 40. Like it's just this is
that's
not.
Why I said you got to get to 2-0. You got to get like a 2-run shot. That way you can at least do the bloop and a blast. But right now having it 4-4 feels impossible. And also, by the way, now that we've had this conversation, Soto's up, of course. This is where the ball goes.
I'll if he goes deep here, I'll wear it. If I'll fucking wear it. But yeah, I mean,
surprised not watching Dragons.
No, I'm watching the fucking Mets game. We got the Positive Vibes Only podcast without dickheads that nobody likes talking shit the whole time.
I'm right. That's why you're in here.
No, I'm coming right back in. We're trying to change the juju. You rooting for the Mets, Frank?
I mean, I just don't care anymore.
hey, Clem.
What's up?
How about those Giants?
That's dude.
Today could have been a big day for you, man.
Oh, I know. Today could have been legendary.
I wasn't gonna text you, but internally, I'm like, if the Mets win tonight, Clem. That has to be a top 5 sports day ever. Yeah.
I didn't even realize what time it was. So I was like, oh fuck, that definitely looks
like you just let him fucking enjoy the game.
Yeah. 4-1 is fucking. It is a godsend because I didn't expect to win this game as a Giants fan. Thought they could keep it close, but.
Oh God, I hate that wiggle. That fucking Soto wiggle.
That's the Soto shuffle.
On our team, man. They should have fucking gone and got Soto, man.
I remember that. But you know what? Again, what's so bizarre is it's not like he was. No, he was playing some of the worst baseball of his career when they acquired.
Like better numbers than him after the deadline. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, and this is how you know. This is when you know that things are just not going your fucking way, dude. Like every bounce, that ball off the bag. By the way, Jeff McNeil, you got to run the fucking bat.
That was weird. Yeah.
He's not the type of guy who does that either. But every little thing, it's just not going.
No, there we fucking are. I mean, come on.
This is what I was talking about when I said, like, when I kept saying, you don't need to be the home run hitting team. And like, that is kind of feast or famine. And if you go cold for a week and you don't hit home runs, you're absolutely fucked. And that's why as a Met fan, I like the way that they play because of shit like this. And people said, no, these pitchers are too good. You're not going to get a lot of hits off them. I'm not talking about necessarily rattling back-to-back doubles off of, Blake Snell and Yu Darvish. I'm talking about putting balls in place so that Lugo has to kick it with his fucking foot and you run out a single. Yeah. I'm talking about getting pitch counts up.
Well, dude, look at
the bullpen early. All of these things are because of sustained rallies and hits and not striking out. And it doesn't have to just be home run or hit. There's a lot of in between and a lot of shit in baseball that goes in between those two things.
Well, dude, I mean, look how the Guardians have won this year. They've hit fewer home runs than almost any other team, but they keep putting the fucking ball in play. They make you beat them.
But that's what the Mets did that like every night,
all summer. That was all summer. That's what you did. Yeah.
But they also have pitchers that were getting, swinging strikes and striking people out, which they stopped doing.
And
that Scherzer performance. God damn it! I hate being fucking negative, but that Scherzer performance. You know what it reminded me of? You remember when Peyton Manning played the Colts in that divisional game in like 2015, where all of a sudden he was just bad. Like he was.
Depressing.
That's what it like.
If you think. But dude, just like 3 starts ago, he had a perfect game through 6.
I know, but sometimes it's just about that one body blow that you take. Where so it's not because that was the worst performance I've ever seen by Mac. I've never seen him pitch that bad.
And you know what? Like Jake didn't have it last night.
He battled like
though. He just fucking grinded. And it felt so much. I've been telling these guys
that game 5 against the Dodgers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where every single inning, I was like, Terry, take him out. He doesn't have it. And they kept running him back out there, and he kept getting the job done. And he did it again, fucking 7 or 8 years later. And that was what Max needed.
Yep.
And he just got fucking lit up for those home runs. Now, I mean, Jake, the difference of, Jake was probably this close to doing that as well. But that's the difference, man. He went out there and balled. I will say this. If there is anything physically wrong with Max Scherzer, and he knew about it, and he didn't choose to say anything when Jacob deGrom could have gone game 1, I will be fucking furious about that, man.
Yeah.
The positive about that is it doesn't matter. It would have gone to game 3 anyway, and we'd be in the same exact spot. Like that. I'm trying to.
Yeah. But you never know.
It's not good to have to do that to Jake. Be like year 2.
You win game 1 though.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just different. Right. It feels different. They start to press instead of the other way around. It's man, but like those bounces, you earn those bounces, and that's why. Fuck! See, God, that's what the Mets do. That's what the Mets do at their best. They put these balls in play, and it's right down the line, and they get the fair ball. They get the fucking kick off the pitcher. They get the pitch counts higher. They get to the bullpen. They steal the base. Their bottom of the order comes up, grimy and fucking gritty, and instead it's the complete fucking opposite, man.
I feel so much worse than I ever thought I would feel. I don't even...
Sorry, Chris. Sorry for putting you on this fucking.
No, it's not. But no, it's not. Here's the thing about me though, is I don't get attached to teams. I get attached to people. Like I'm a Detroit sports guy. I'm a Michigan guy through and through. I just I wanted this for you guys. Like that was my whole thing. Is like I enjoyed it this summer because this summer was so fucking terrible.
So awesome, man. And you go from pretty fucking disappointing and flat out bad in a lot of ways to so good, never really a sustained losing streak, never really disappointed for more than a couple days, and fucking assholes like Frank and everyone else who follows baseball like him, chose this is upsetting baseball to watch. This is what happened all year long. It was the polar opposite of this was happening all year long, and you choose not to enjoy that and not to recognize when it's happening, just so you can be like, I have tweets about this from May. Okay, whatever, man. Congratulations, good for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, the thing is, and I'm gonna say this I'll do a little video later, but you don't get to choose when you play in the postseason. Obviously, when you guys beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3 at home, I was confident you guys were the best team in baseball.
I remember that episode we did. I was like, we are gonna fucking roll.
And the fact is, people are gonna take that as people were wrong the entire time. If the postseason started the next day, you were in line to be a team that was gonna win the whole.
Oh my god, we would have
that goes
White Sox. We would have never even lost a fucking game.
Right, that goes the opposite direction though, because last July the Braves wouldn't have won the fucking World Series, but you get to October, it's one of those things where you don't get to choose when you get hot. You don't get to choose when you're healthy. Because that was, I believe, right after DeGrom had come off the IL. And he looked every bit as good as he was in the early part of 2021.
Yep. Bro, you know what I really didn't take into account last night? I just didn't let it hit me. I was driving in to the stream and I was listening to Simple Man. And I had legit tears in my eyes being like, wait, this might be the last time I ever watched Jacob deGrom on the Mets.
Yep.
And even if it's tonight instead, I just feel better that it wasn't his game. But
at least he pitched well. Okay, and I know that's a minor consolation. I get it.
No,
but it would have been a shitty memory. It would have been a shitty memory if his final start was 3 innings, 5 earned. You know what I mean? He did battle out there.
That would break my heart. I personally think Cohen has got to.
Jake's gonna have to turn down a ton to go somewhere else. He's going to have to make like a life-altering decision almost to turn
Cohen will
leave.
make I
like
agree.
Cohen will go the extra mile. Cohen's not going to want, and it's two different states of the franchise and the players, but you don't want to do Tom Seaver 2.0 to Mets fans, right?
Right, yeah. Winning game 300 as a White Sox. Yeah.
Andrew McCutcheon tweeted, "Here we go. I guarantee Musgrove has red hot on his ears. Pitcher use it as a mechanism to stay locked in during games. It burns like strike three. Yes, this is some motivation right here because it's second and third, nobody out, and they don't score. You take this and you fucking roll. We need the Puerto Rican to get one more." But McCutcheon says, okay, he's taking him out.
So he's red hot on his ears.
So he has red hot on his ears. It burns like crazy, and I don't know why some guys thinks it helps them, but it in no way is sticky. Buck is smart, though. Could just be trying to throw him off. I mean, his ears are bright fucking red.
Yeah.
And they were super shiny. And it is really wild. High leverage.
Givens.
Have you seen the splits, high leverage and low leverage for Michael Givens?
Has he been great in high leverage and shitty?
Great. I mean, this was like when he first came to the Mets, so I don't quite know what they are. It was something like high leverage, tough jams, opposing OPS is like 300. And low leverage, it's like 1,000. It was crazy.
Like in low leverage spots, the guys hitting off him are fucking Paul Goldschmidt, but then in high leverage situations, they're James McCann. It's crazy.
It was always joked every time, he like hit a batter or walked a batter. We're like, the leverage is not high enough. We gotta ramp it up for Givens, baby.
Well,
Let me tell you, if he gets this out and you get a runner or two on next inning,
let's go.
Let's make something happen. Okay. I'm not making any guarantees, but the biggest detriment that any team runs into in the postseason, runners left on base.
Yep.
If you're not capitalizing on opportunities, it's even in the regular season, it's like this too. It's gonna bite you in the ass.
And that's
out of this.
Like 4 runs right now. That's still within shooting, still within range. Like if it was 8-0 right now, I'm not going to be unrealistic about it. But you have a chance to. I was actually going to say it before we started talking about DeGrom there. A base knock here and it's 6-0. Good night, the lights.
Yeah,
it's pretty much a console. So knowing that they have the chance right here to basically end this game, if they don't, there's just a little something in the back of your mind, maybe going, you know what, fuck, like we had
a little window, yeah.
That's why if they score the next inning, so if they don't score here and Lindor, who's up? Marte Lindor, Alonso, if they score, it's And I don't know how much the Padres know about it, but as a fan, you start thinking about St. Louis, you start thinking about the Philly comeback, you start thinking about all these games where it's like it has happened and it could happen.
And I know he's been better lately, but Hader's been pretty shitty for a lot of the year.
He has seemed to find it, but it you don't know.
You
don't know. It's not like Hader back in a few years ago. I say that for sure.
He's got to make his pitches here, though.
Yep, 100%.
I mean, I will say this: your season being in the hands of Michael Givens is not exactly what you expected. When you're in the middle of the summer and things are going well, you don't think to yourself, "All right, this will come down to Will Myers versus Michael Givens." Come on, man, high leverage. Do it for me one time.
It's a 6 sport. I don't know how you fucking follow it so closely, my man. God bless.
It'll be worth it one day. when I'm 80.
Yeah, brother.
It's a sport unlike any other, man. The drama is just too high. The stakes are too high, and the play is too erratic. Like there's just no rhyme or reason.
There's just so many variables.
So many, man. Did all the dogs? No, the Guardians were favored, right?
Guardians are favored.
And the Mariners were not, right?
Yep, all the road teams took it.
I mean, that's stupid. Sports sucks. Come on, Mike. Just get me to this inning.
Mike with a Y.
Nothing. Mike with a Y. Come on. Come on.
Crowd's awake. Crowd's awake.
Get me one more. High leverage Givens. Get me one more.
Let's fucking go. Come on.
Get me to the bottom of the inning, 4-0. Let's go.
Stretch. We get Lazy Mary.
Come
and then
on.
we fucking ride.
Start to do it. Come on.
Keep it away. Give him something away.
Yeah! Let's go. That strikeout was brought to you by Travis Matthew, the most comfortable hoodie in the fucking world right now. This really actually is. I was hot in that other sweatshirt. I put on this fucking nice and soft one.
Oh yeah,
Wait, feel the inside. Feel the inside.
We're going inside.
Ooh, baby.
Yes, sir.
You know who's at the game?
Who? Smarlin. What?
Jackie Nichols.
Jackie's at this game? Jackie went to the game and didn't tell me? If Jackie's a
That's
bad
fucked up,
luck,
yeah.
I'm going to tell her. I'm going to break her new nose if she's a bad luck charm.
Jesus, Kev.
That girl goes to the Mets elimination game. And she did this earlier in the summer. Granted, it's not the playoffs. She was just like, oh, I was at the game last night. I was like, what? Oh my God. Can you imagine her right now? Who's she with? You know, probably some diehard Mets fans. And Jackie's just like, what's going on? Do you think that I could run the bases faster
This
than
guy,
that guy?
Jerry, he had a show in the 90s. He invited me. I don't know. He's a big Mets fan.
Knowing her, she'll be like in the Cohen suite somehow. Oh man.
She is in a suite.
She is in a suite? Of
Oh
course.
my
Of
God.
course. Dude, yeah, I mean, you have to score here. You have
Yeah.
Marte, Lindor, Alonso. Again,
I would argue, Kevin. I need two. You need 2 runs this inning. I need a bloop and a blast. I need a walk and a blast. Just something. If 4-1, okay. You got to cut the lead in half. At
perfectly
least.
fine for perfectly fine circumstances to try to, in the 8th and 9th. Anything less than that is you're asking a lot from an offense that obviously is not getting it done.
Right.
It's the FaceTime call from the concert. Gonna try to see what song we got playing.
Hall and
Check,
Oates.
yeah, see if we get like Private Eyes or something. That might be the nice. How we doing, baby? What song we have playing right now? Are you guys done? It's over? Or you guys are playing slots? All right. You're on the stream. I gotta go. I gotta go. Fuck you. I'm getting the finger from people. People are talking shit.
The Hall and Oates stream, the Hall and Oates concert. What could have been, man? All we needed was one more win in the regular season, and Clem goes to Hall and Oates, and none of us are even here until Tuesday.
If anything, we're rooting against the Braves, best case scenario, or they lost by now. And instead, it's the darkest timeline.
God, it sucks. Absolutely sucks.
Now I have to avoid spoilers on Dragons all night, too.
Oh, man. God, come on. I just need.
It's been some crazy shit this postseason, Castellani, in terms of comebacks, too. That's the one
Oh,
thing.
dude, it's been the greatest this weekend. Oh my God, I love postseason
I mean,
baseball.
an 8-1 comeback, and most of that happened in like one inning, didn't it? Wasn't it or was it throughout the game?
Dude, I'll be real. I said this in my video because I was tired yesterday afternoon. I was like, all right, it's 8-1. I'm gonna take a nap. If I can, I'll see tomorrow's game. I wake up and it's 8-8 or 9-9.
Crazy.
That team, them and Cleveland, dude, they're pests, man. Mariners, they're like I think the Astros will win the AL. That Mariners.
I mean,
team
the
is
Astros
scary,
are
man.
very,
and they're going to be good for a while.
but like anything can happen when you're talking about
Rally shots.
rally
Oh,
shots.
rally
Let's
shots.
go.
I like it.
Little whistle pig for the boys. Let's go.
This isn't a bad idea, Pabs. Kyle had to switch the seats around before, and we got a hit immediately. So I
You
like
never
where our
know,
heads
man.
are at. This is postseason time.
Cheers.
Castellani, feel free to
To
pour
the
yourself.
2022 Mets.
I
Cheers.
got you. I'm one step ahead of you, buddy boy.
Not bad. Ooh, smooth. Which one of us is sponsored by who?
Let's go, Castellani. I love it, dude.
My bad. Good riding with us.
There you go,
Oh, okay.
McCutcheon. We're one step ahead of the ESPN programming. I mean, that shouldn't be allowed either. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a substance. It's a fucking foreign substance.
You
So-
got to make him work here, though. These are low leverage innings for him this entire
I
night.
mean,
Like,
it's been a breeze,
Crazy.
dude.
yeah, I know a lot of that is him. He's throwing strikes, but
He is, and I can't. I thought the umpire was inconsistent at best the other night. This
Yeah.
is like no doubt about it. He's throwing strikes, and they are not capitalizing.
honestly, that's been a theme throughout the postseason so far, Kev. Is there's been a lot of bad umpiring.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, see that, but this is different though. Like those are two. Now it's 2-0. It easily could be 1-1 or 0-2. Let's go, Marte.
see, this is the guy. This is the guy to fucking start it, man. This is my boy. You know this.
This is the one. Come on, kid. Come
Single
on.
up the middle. Come on. That 1-0 was a strike, but
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
Definitely.
Yeah. we have gotten some cookies this series. I can't even complain.
Come on. Or at least, I mean, we got to try to get him out of this fucking game. Ball.
Side.
Yep. Come on. I can't believe it's only 74 pitches, though.
yeah, I
Like,
know
there's
that's
so much work
ridiculous.
to do
Yeah.
if we want to get him out of here.
Like fucking Greg Maddux over here.
Dude, the way I think of this, though, we got a third of a game, 7, 8, 9, to score some runs. We're not. It's not
Not
panic
100
time.
runs. Don't need
It's
100
not
runs.
panic time yet. Completely contradicting what I said.
Ooh, that would have been close.
I'm just gonna please ask to not strike out looking. That's all I ask for right now. It's too close to take, wasted.
He's mixing speeds so well. It's the problem.
You know what I mean? What I have learned, like, is to boil pitching down to this most basic form. Watching DeGrom and Max struggle a little bit. Paul, yes,
Got one.
that's one, baby. That's one. A walk and a blast, like Castellani says. Watching those guys. Look at this fucking asshole. God, I actually like those jerseys, but fuck you, dude. Not right now. That's for, like, you know, you're at home.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
sunny
that's
Sunday
not an
afternoon
elimination
ball
game,
game.
yeah.
Not cold New York elimination
Yeah.
October baseball game. Baseball comes down to when you're pitching. If you're breaking ball, if you have command of that and you can throw your strikes, you're in good shape. If not, and you have disciplined hitters who just sit there and wait for the fastball.
Oh, dude, he's so wet on that fucking pitch.
Come on, Frank.
All right, there's the break. There's the break, Kev. There's the fucking break.
Come
That's
on.
what we need.
Oh, that's when Francisco looks his worst, is when he's swinging
Swinging
over
the
those
low
balls.
shit, yeah.
Yeah.
It has very a Reyes feel to me, where it's like, oh, I wasn't even close.
When
man.
he took that foul off the knee, I got really worried. I was getting. I don't know if it was Floyd who did that once.
Floyd fucking was out for like a season because of that. Didn't he
Yeah.
like break a leg doing that? Come on, Cisco. Come on. Come on. Come on.
That first pitch was a Javi Baez swing.
Yeah.
So was the second
So
one.
was the second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? Is it just like you can't lay off it?
I mean, it looks so enticing when it's coming across the plate. I mean, that's a great pitch, but yeah.
It is, but it's also like
But you're also, you're a professional hitter. I mean,
he's also been doing it all night. It feels like at some point gonna make an adjustment, you know?
yeah.
At least give me. Come on. Get through. I mean, fuck
my
me.
God.
Safe. All right. You know what I was gonna say? Just advance the runner, and he did. But Jesus
Greg
Christ,
Myers is fucking Keith Hernandez tonight.
is his glove always this good? Is he
It's-
lights out
he's
like
not,
this?
right?
No, he wasn't a first baseman until like a few years ago.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Some people show up for the big fucking games. I got to give him credit. Like, oh my
Dude.
God.
That
That's
makes
a man on
it
third.
gives me a little. I know that's second and third right there. That's baseball, Susan. That is second and third, nobody out, and the whole fucking game is different, you know.
Yep.
Now, hey, man, bring back the good juju. Sunday Night Baseball a few months ago. Hung
That's
a
right.
slider to Alonso, piped a 3-run shot. Need another one right here.
Come on, big boy. Come on, big man. He's gonna swing at this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's weird about Alonso for a guy who hits as many home runs. He's
Nope.
not as disciplined as like you would think.
He loves to swing at the first pitch.
Yeah.
This is juice ball year that skews it a little bit, but
Mhm.
in general, he does have pretty good numbers swing on the first pitch. Because I personally, if I ran a baseball team, my rule would be never swing at the first pitch, fucking ever. Just always make him throw another pitch. Always work the count a little bit. But he did jump all over first pitches for at least a couple seasons.
Yeah. That's the Mike Trout's big principle is he never swings at the
Never.
first pitch. Yeah. He went a whole year in the minor leagues without swinging at the first pitch.
Like, why not just give yourself more pitches to see?
Yeah.
Come on, Pete. Come on. At least drive one in here. At least keep a rally going. Come on. Last 4 starts, 0 for 15, runners in scoring position.
Jesus.
Probably because he's got hot sauce in his fucking ears. Come on, Pete.
Good luck.
See?
How's
See?
Mama Clarence doing right now?
Oh, she can't be good. She can't be good. She cannot be good. She wanted to do the stream with Frank. And I was like, no, you can't do that. Like, she was like, I don't care. I'll say whatever I want to him. I was like, that's the
why I
problem.
can't do it.
It's like you will get the whole family canceled with the things that you'll end up saying to Frank Fleming. If she saw him chewing on, like, if you're not from Barstool and you see Frank, it's like, what are you guys doing?
I get more texts about Frank Fleming than anybody else I work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
And that includes Dave. Yeah.
Yes, get down. Fuck.
Jesus.
I mean, how many of those balls? Like at least five of those, right?
Those 50-50 balls, man. Yeah.
Right at somebody. I thought that was more in the gap. I hate to. I'm not one of these guys, but I would like the exit velocity numbers. I bet you tonight there's several hard hit balls.
Oh yeah,
for the men.
the Grisham one that he made, the play he made in center was out of this world. That had
Yeah.
to be
Oh god.
crazy. Bro.
That'll be you know Phil's gonna come. You're gonna find that later tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's the thing.
And I love Phil for that. He is right. Like baseball is a game of complete luck. So yeah.
But you make your luck and you put yourself in those spots, and the Mets did that all year, and then they capitalized.
And the Padres, to their credit, have played tremendous defense this entire season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck. That big Bugs Bunny curveball for a strike drives me nuts. Do you think at some point about like a drag bunt or just I don't know something to like?
If it was 1 out, I'd totally do it. But with 2, you just got to try to
No, but I just feel like in general your approach of like.
I thought Nimmo was going to do it his last at bat.
Yeah. Just something to. How about Pete striking out for the first time? 60 at bats.
Jeff, yeah, that was fucking.
Yeah, Jeff, yeah.
That was fucking disgusting. And got to give it. I mean, fucking Musgrove just lights the fuck out.
I mean,
just lights the fuck out.
Yeah, this is the postseason nightmare scenario, man. You run into a pitcher who pitches the game of his life in the biggest game of his career. I mean, I call it Chris Carpenter syndrome, you know, against the Phillies that one year. Like, just got everything working. Luis Castillo was like that the other night against Toronto.
Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Stay alive and
run.
Run
It out every fucking time.
That was really disappointing. Like, I mean, that was a weird ball, but like, you know. What, you can't be bothered to run a little bit and come back?
That's not like him, too, because usually he's spiking his helmet as he's running down the line, but he's always running.
He's throwing him 3 pitches away here.
Hmm.
Might try to bust him in, maybe with that breaking ball. Maybe a cutter in on the hands.
Got to get a run here. You just have to. I mean, you can't let him off the hook every single inning.
Because you're gonna have bottom of the order coming up next inning too. So it's
and the bottom of the order is hell, not like theirs.
Come on.
Fucking nothing. Dude,
the amount of just like rollover ground outs to the right side has been.
He's pitched out. He's pitched out of his fucking mind, man.
I mean, he's gonna. Was he 85 pitches?
He could finish this thing. I bet he gets one more.
He might
on a short
complete game
in 2022. That's almost impossible.
And you know, get accused of cheating and prove you're not and fucking get. I mean,
kick on the table.
That is going to be like the Padres will have that over you for a long time. Like you can, Joe Musgrove can shove that up your ass for a long time. It's like, oh, remember that time you guys were so baffled by me you had to accuse me of cheating.
There'll be a beanball next year.
Yeah. You guys remember that happened to us in the 06 World Series where Kenny Rogers in like the third or fourth inning, Tony La Russa And okay, for the record, Kenny Rogers was a legend in that postseason. I think he was probably he felt like they made him go to the sink and wash his hands, and he came back and he threw 5 scoreless after that. But like, just
You know what we think when we think about Kenny Rogers in the playoffs? Ball.
I remember, dude.
Ball
That's
for Rogers. That's one of the worst moments of my life too.
man. You know that I have a love and obsession with Mike Francesa.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite Francesa clips, which I mean, there's like 20 of them, is when Kenny Rogers shoved it up the Yankees' ass in Game 3 of the ALDS in 06.
Uh-huh.
And him and Mad Dog did a show together on a Saturday before Game 4. And he goes, "Look, I have never been as angry as I've been watching Kenny Rogers last night. This guy was featuring a curveball that I never saw him throw with the Mets or the Yankees. And he was incredible that entire postseason."
I think it was Andrew Jones who was trotting home for the winning run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was just like, I mean, the
Numb.
absolute worst.
It's one of those things you'd rather give up a grand slam there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A walk-up series-ending walk is insanity.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Wasn't it a 3-0 count too? Like he missed on all of them.
Oh yeah, I think it was like not even.
Yeah. No, that's what was weird with the Tigers is he had like a 7.62 postseason ERA, and he got to Detroit in 06. I think he threw 22 consecutive scoreless innings in that postseason.
I will say this: I am. If we can't come back here, I am absolutely preparing for the worst, which is the Phillies make some noise, and the Yankees are absolutely going to win the World Series.
Well, would you rather Phillies or Braves make noise?
Probably Braves.
Just because they just won?
They just won. I don't know many Braves fans. If I do know them, they're like a lot of bandwagon fans, like Phillies fans. Whatever's going to make my day-to-day most miserable. You know, I don't want to see fucking Smitty.
Well, I mean, I love Smitty, but just in terms of logic, I would rather a team that I know is better than you win than it like you guys beat the
because like the Phillies we beat fucking 15 times this year.
14-5 maybe or 15.
Yeah, it's like the Braves. We talked about it when I was on your show. Like the Braves won the World Series last year. You're not good. This isn't some little team that could. Like they're a ridiculously good crew.
And I actually think that when they're at their best, I don't watch the Dodgers enough. I just know their numbers, and obviously they're fucking disgusting. But I mean, goddamn these leadoff walks.
We need the Dodgers to win the World Series. That's the bottom line. Rooting for Dodgers, Astros, give us that fucking World Series.
That's what I think. That's been my prediction for a minute. I think this has been an awesome baseball season. I think it ends with that. I think it ends with that.
Would make me feel okay. Like it comes down to the Dodgers and the Astros. Those are two teams that were that was tier 1 all year long.
Yeah,
and there was like. The Yankees, the Yankees had their own tier for a little bit.
I was going to say, it wasn't all year long. I mean, back in June, the Yankees were looking like the fucking 27 Yankees for a while.
But when it came down to it, it was like those two, that was a tier. And then it was like Mets, Braves, and the Yankees kind of like floated in there. But if those two teams play, it's like, okay, well, whatever. We all were just not World Series winners. This is super disappointing. But if it is a team, even if it is the Padres, if it is the Mariners or whoever, I'd be happy for the Mariners, but it would be like, God damn it.
Mm-hmm. It's like the year when we beat the Royals in the last game of the season to win the AL Central. And then the Royals ended up making it to Game 7 of the World Series and we got swept in the first round. That one annoyed the shit out of me. Like, now it turned out that they were way better than we thought they were, but still.
Are who we thought they were.
If Grisham gets on here, I mean, do you consider giving Diaz an inning? Just
yes. Please.
Oh shit! Yeah. Thank you.
Let's go.
I love the little pepperoni pizza.
Little rally pep. Yeah. Clean sheet. I don't want to get it on my Travis Matthew hoodie.
So, Chris, tell us about Detroit Pizza. Detroit Pizza, I feel like it's having its moment in the sun these days, or it just had it.
Starting to lately, yeah. I mean, I got to get out there more. I mean, I miss food a lot. I don't eat that much anymore, man.
What does that mean?
Chris used to be a big boy.
Oh.
Yeah, I was 205 pounds after college.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm 138 right now. So I mean,
My goodness.
I discipline the shit out of my. Yep, you see, they got Diaz warming up. I bet if Grisham gets on here, you just got to extend the game. You got to give Diaz an inning. Yeah,
Can't the game be over.
And let him leave Diaz.
air it out.
Let him
Yeah.
go. This shit is over.
Mhm.
One way or the other.
Top 8, yeah. No out.
I'm knock on wood. I'm trying not to jinx it. I mean, it's 4-0. This Diaz season is one of my favorite reliever seasons ever.
It takes a lot to be able to turn around when you are as bad as he was in the hole as he got with Mets fans. It's usually almost impossible to turn that around.
Yeah. The Bulls, though.
We didn't realize at the time.
The way it's going to be revisioned is
I mean, this guy, he Trent fucking Grisham. If you watch this series alone, you'd be like, this guy makes what, $400 a year? 400. He's got a $400 million contract, makes $40 million a year.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable.
You got to go Diaz now, right? I mean,
Good at gun. 2 bullets in it. Hitler, Stalin, and Jen Grisham are all in the same room. Who would you shoot? That's Walter O'Malley, by the way. Like, who's the Castellano? You know, who was the owner of the Giants that moved the Giants to San Francisco when the Dodgers moved out?
oh shit! You see it? It's gonna be what?
He gets such a free pass.
They get such a free pass.
Everybody villainizes Walter O'Malley, and meanwhile, another team did the same exact fucking thing, and nobody knows his name.
Which it's good you didn't know it. It hammers the point home just how fucking unfair it is.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'll remember it tomorrow. I'm sure. But yeah.
off the rails out there, by the way.
Is it?
I can't do it.
I figured it was just dead out there, so I was like,
It's like, bro, you lit the match.
I was gonna say, yeah, tell him to calm down. It's like you guys wanted this all year. I mean, I know this is what we do here, but like this team has been my life for far before Barstool and will be for after. And I'm not like gonna torture myself with Frank fucking Fleming anymore.
I'll give Frank credit though. Going like you got to read the room. You can't make a moment out of this.
no, you can't do that. I was gonna say, but if you don't throw the trumpets
But
on,
look,
then-
it's not. It's the fucking Padres fans. You know
No,
what I mean?
it's the fucking Mr. Met out there too. That's
Well,
bad.
yeah, but he's a fucking idiot.
Mr. Met has taken a lot of shrapnel tonight.
But somebody's telling him what to do, though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
agree with what I'm saying? Like the marketing
I don't
department's
know.
got to get in front of that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. That's a rough look.
It's horrible. That's going to be all over.
Yeah.
Like all his crazy shit of like, they're smiling this. Like that's legit. Like you can't do that.
Also, the guy inside Mr. Met is making like, $15 an hour, and it's like, I'm here, I'm getting paid to dance, so I'm gonna fucking dance. But it is the getting the Mets, the Cohen era of the Mets, getting this, like turning around this fucking cruise ship it's gonna take some time, and those are things that need to like, not only do you give everybody a raise and bring in new infrastructure and bring in free agents and do this and do that, you get new PR and you have a guy be like, hey, listen, when you're getting embarrassed, just shut the fuck up and chill out for a little minute,
Yeah, I think it's everything. Like you said, you pay the people who work in the stadium higher.
I bet.
Me and Clem say all the time, what we should be is professional franchise consultants, where you say, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Where you say, tomorrow we're going to do this giveaway. What do you guys think? And if me and Clem said we would blog this and say how fucking corny you look, then you don't do it. Hey, this is our press release that we're going to put out from our player who's got in trouble. What do you think? And if our reaction is like, we would make fun of this line, and this line, you look at this dickhead. This guy, yeah, you got to go. Dress like a fucking chicken.
Hashtag these Mets. Nope, doesn't leave the room.
Yeah, these Mets, like out of nowhere, you're going to try to just make up a...
And on my way over,
They're really being pricks though tonight. The pod, like,
But this is what the Mets did when they were at their best, man. They haven't hit a home run yet. This is how the Mets won baseball games.
I think they're stepping out on purpose too. I mean, I listen to gamesmanship. I give them credit.
Yeah. No. I mean, no. They disrupted the timing all night. I mean, the bunt here.
That is bullshit.
You got to go 3 deep, and we don't go 3 deep technically. So,
But we did for so long.
yeah, I know.
Bro, there was a point where the Mets, I think, had the Dodgers were always a cut above. The Mets had the best starting staff for a long fucking time. like an ERA of like in the twos.
Yeah.
Full rotation.
Yeah. When DeGrom, because DeGrom was always a question mark. When DeGrom came off the IL and was pitching the way he was pitching, I'm like, you guys are no one's beating you. Like, I mean,
But
now
also think about like this team was playing their best baseball when Jacob DeGrom was hurt. Like he
Right.
was not a huge part of the 2022 Mets. He really wasn't. It was everybody else. It was Tyler McGill in the beginning, and then when he got hurt, it was Cookie and Bassett and even Peterson for a bit. Like, and Walker had his first half. If you could platoon Walker the way you do with batters, if you could have a first half Walker and then a second half pitcher, you'd be great. And I don't want to fucking hear about the trade deadline. Like nothing here. Nothing would make a difference here. Even like if you got the bullpen arm that I crushed them about.
Yeah.
What would a bullpen arm have done this?
They beat
nothing
you with
here.
your best. They beat you with your like if Max, Jake, and Bassett weren't going to come out,
Yeah.
we were fucked.
But, but
Right.
not to beat the dead horse, I do think we win the one more game, and it doesn't put us on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday series.
Yeah,
So I get your point, but that's where it's like.
But like I don't think we really lost those games because of the bullpen, really. You know?
We felt like the bats disappeared for a little while when we were relying on guys.
But what bat were you gonna? You know what I mean? Like,
well, the Rockies weren't.
you loved Chrome.
Yeah, and he fell off in the second half, but he still is. He put up legit numbers. And
He's pretty goddamn good. He played 9 games for us, and he's better than any first baseman we've had since Miggy in his prime.
He's definitely a threat.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very puzzling at the time, and then they just went on to win anyway. It's just like all of it always also comes back to like you had 101 win team in this division alongside you. Because if you just didn't have that and you get the first bye, we're not questioning any of this.
Yeah.
If the Braves won 95 and they won the division, nobody's questioning Billy Epler because they're sitting at home right now with their feet up.
Right.
It all worked out. They stayed in that and it worked out. But you know what was interesting? Pete Alonso's press conference a couple days ago, or I think it was like leading up to the wild card.
Or I thought you were talking after game 1.
No. This was when they asked him about losing to the Braves, and he said, "But yeah, you know what? We lost to the Cubs like 3 weeks earlier, and we know the fans have been beating that drum like crazy." It's kind of an interesting look into the clubhouse where it's like, I bet those guys sit around thinking about that series too.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
guys-
I mean, these guys are aware.
Have you seen Castellani? You seen the Cubs numbers against the NL East?
Yeah, they're
They have the best record in baseball against the NL East.
Yeah,
And the Mets
they actually played not.
the NL East.
They did not play bad in the second half, really. Like they got. Carl's talked about. He might be right. Like they're not as far off as people think. Like I think Hoyer's going to do a good job. Now it still sucks getting fucking swept by him. I'm not going to act like it doesn't. But what a fucking pitch, dude.
He's so good.
What fuck? Like
So Diaz Soto try to get to the fucking bottom of the 8th here. Oh.
that's death now.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they really haven't. Don't get me wrong, we didn't have a prayer, and they beat the shit out of us. But they didn't like. I don't know. They just did the little things. They move a guy over. He's still second base. Like
There it is. Oh,
it's just tough to do.
the best team of my lifetime, just down the drain, man.
We were never in it.
Down the fucking drain, dude.
Man, I fucking jinxed it because of what I said. Was fucking Soto had not been a huge factor.
I've been saying it too, dude. And you knew, like, you just Juan Soto's not going to be that bad for that long. It's heartbreaking, man.
Yeah, and it's not like that was, it was 4-0. It was going to be a long shot anyway. But that's what he does. I mean, he's a pure hitter. Not a bad pitch either. I mean, that's what he, opposite field.
Chris, I have not experienced this one yet. I've experienced a bad team, a bad ownership and bad management, and a team that overachieves despite that.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost feels like you're winning to piss off the ownership in a way.
Yeah, no, I think 15. That's why 15 was such a big moment for you guys. Is like we're gonna do this in spite of you.
Made it despite.
Yeah,
When they had all 5 of those pitchers getting paid $500,000 a year, they should have won a 1,000 games if they coupled it with just even a functioning offense, and they didn't. And they've always had these moments, these seasons, where despite the fact that ownership did little to nothing or even got in their way, but this new hurt, man, of like Steve Cohen came in and Epler came in, and they did it so fast. They get Scherzer, Marte, Canna, Escobar.
it was a great offseason.
That's
and
like
they all play, and they were all good too. It's not like you got Marte and he's
5 or 6 guys that all immediately were starters.
Yeah,
and transformed the team, and it worked. And it was like I had a 10-year plan, and it took one to like start cooking.
Yeah.
And now you realize though that it's like it takes more than that. And
yeah, well, I mean, dude, we've now gone through it together because it's very similar to those Tigers teams that I saw in the early 2010s, where it's like I looked at our roster and I went, "Fuck, God, we got some good players. Like we can win this whole thing." And postseason's a crapshoot, and you got to get hot at the right time, and you got to be healthy at the right time. You know, if Miguel Cabrera doesn't lose one leg, we probably win it all in 2013. Yeah, man.
I mean, I just take some sort of solace in the fact of like, I don't think it matters about winning the division. Like, I think if it was going to be like this, the Dodgers would eat your fucking lunch. You know what I mean?
No, and I do. And look, the Padres played great in the series. I mean, even last night, like I said, like it got away from them. You know, they had DeGrom by the balls a few times.
I mean, they beat the shit out of the Phillies all year, so I guess you could say they would go in there comfortable and confident. But like Wheeler and Nola would do the same fucking thing that these guys are doing. It's like it just hurts, man. It's a new type of pain, a new like I've never had this as a fan. The like your team is good. Real good and built. I don't want to say right because they need more home run hitters, but for a while where the style of ball they were playing, they were absolutely built right.
Yeah, you know, you say that there's always going to be flaws, but you know what? I don't care how sane or insane you are. You win 101 games, you're going to go into the postseason thinking you can win the whole thing. Every team's going to have flaws, you know.
Yeah, but I will say, man, like. This was it's got to be one of the more out of all the 101 win teams. These guys had a bizarre level of question marks. Like they had a question mark about Jake and Max, and it kind of came to fruition. And you had these question marks about like the offense going blank like every other day, but they would then make up for it. But it was like. Well, which one? What if you get that 2 or 3 times in a row? And that's kind of what you got here. It's so weird. But I got so confident watching it. Like I grew from like the negative sky is falling fan to the positive fan because they just kept proving people like that wrong for months.
It's only human nature to do that. Like, especially when you've had the franchise like, you know, like the Mets. Like I said that, you know, I said this to you guys in your show. There was a period in which you were playing better baseball than any Met team I've ever seen. And
absolutely.
Yeah, man. I'm fucking frustrated right now. It's fucking weird.
But it's just I guess it's, you know, maybe Dodgers fans can relate. Like where, you know, they did it for like 9 straight seasons where they had like the best team and would fall short. And this is obviously, I hesitate to even put them in the same conversation because they're a class, you know, of their own. But when it's like, you know, when you go into game 162 in 2007 with 800-year-old Tom Glavine and he sucks, you kind of get what you deserve. And when you go into 2015 with like, I can't even remember who's like the big the big bats of that team. It's like, yeah,
Well,
you're
it was Cespedes, and then Murphy became Babe Ruth for 2
right.
weeks.
But
Right.
aside from that, you got a bunch of as Drupal Cabrera, whoever it was, fucking trying to win you a World Series. You're not going to win. But
Fordo, you had Wright's corpse for a few weeks. Yeah.
But when a team gives you Jake and Max, and you have Pete and Lindor hitting, and you got Marte, and then it's like you got a batting champion, 2 Cy Young winners, maybe 2 Hall of Famers, a RBI champ, and a 40 home run hitter. Like when you do all that, it's just let the chips fall where they may, and it's just like the chips fucking fell in the goddamn toilet. Like,
look, man, I once rooted for a team that had 5 Cy Young winners on it, and they got swept in the first round. So I can relate to this a ton, where it's luck of the draw to a certain extent. It's getting hot at the right time to a certain extent, but it's also about execution. I mean, I don't know if this makes you feel any better, but like this was not a series that was decided because of a random play here or there. You guys got clearly outplayed. I mean, they pitched better.
No, if that makes you feel better or worse. Because aside from the Braves series and that Cubs series, like, of course, they lost a couple here or there. But the Cubs series, and then I think they lost 2 out of 3 of the Nats, were like they didn't lose a series against a team that they were better than for like 5 months straight. Like,
did you guys have some insane run against NL East teams too, where you were like,
they dominated the fuck out of the NL East, and they just
I'm getting upset, man. God damn.
they lost to they lost to the Padres back when the Padres were like still really feeling like a World Series contender, and after this, maybe they're back on track. They split with the Braves, they split with the Dodgers, they lost to the Mariners, which now I was like, is that a team they should have beat? That's kind of a coin flip.
No, that's not.
They always beat every team that they were better than up until that September. Mm-hmm. And then they just struggled against the Cubs and the Athletics, and then they got the doors blown off by the Braves. But there was such a long stretch and such a body of evidence that was like, if they're better than you over the course of 3 games, the cream will rise to the top.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it just didn't happen here.
There's so many variables in the sport of baseball, but I think ultimately what it came down to is that this team was built through their starting pitching. And the fact that you had a 5-man rotation the whole year that was dominant, and when it mattered most, they were either underwhelming or just straight up bad. That Braves series, just killed you.
You're built on pitching and clutch hitting, and both went away.
People overlooked that with the Tigers too when we were really good. Like Justin Verlander is my hero. He was dog shit in 2 World Series for us. And he was shitty in 19 with the Astros too. He's a terrible World Series pitcher. Now that's subject to change, but it's like you rely on your guys all year, and then when you get to the postseason, the sample size becomes so minuscule that you're talking about one start. Like Alek Manoah had an amazing year for the Blue Jays. Wasn't good against Seattle the other night.
It's that I guess I like that. Losing in all the other years, like 2015 was like, man, if you guys spent money and had an offense to go along with the way that pitching finally clicked.
Yeah. And made a few basic defensive plays in the World Series.
Right. But not putting on the players on the field, talking about the organization. You had 5 aces that combined were getting paid like $2 million. So why don't you spend $100 million on bats and go win a World Series? You could have, and you didn't. 2007, you could have built that 06 team up more, and you didn't. And so it was always like, well, we didn't win, but how could we really expect to win when this is what, ownership gives you? This one is like ownership did their job, and it didn't work out. And to me, that's much more like that's sports. That's baseball, Susan. It's not like we are a big market team playing like a small market team, and until that changes,
Right.
we'll never win. This is we played like a big market team. We played good all year. You didn't play when it counts. Them's the breaks. That feels a little bit better to me. Like I said, it's a new feeling of hurt because it's like, well, why the fuck did that happen? The other ones, it's like, I know why it happened.
There's reason
Coming a mile away. This
for
one,
it, in terms of ownership cheapness. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. There were reasons for it in terms of ownership
Yeah.
cheapness. You put the chips in the middle of the table this year, and I think that makes it feel both better and worse. Probably
Right.
is like the commitment was there.
But that's why guys like Frank will spout off about he was right. He even said it when he broke character the other night. He was like, I really thought this Mets team was different because they did it. They went all out for you, and you can say you saw it coming, but it's like there was so many examples of them bouncing back that there was every chance they did here, and they didn't. And so if you want to thump your chest that you have some tweets that say the Mets offense was too streaky, yeah, they fucking were, man.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Kevin, and this bothers me throughout all sports is I don't believe in fucking curses. I think that's horse shit. I think it's a stupid narrative. Like Steve Cohen has owned the team for 2 years. What the fuck does he have to do with 2007? Like people like to spin that stuff like it means something. At the same time, and this is just me being truthful, until you either one, knock off the Braves and win the division, or two, at least make it to the World Series. In terms of the online, the perspective, that's going to be a thing. I go through the same shit with the Detroit Lions right now, who are admittedly a far worse franchise than you guys, for the record. But it's we're going to go through the same shit where until they get over the hump and win a playoff game, there's going to be that same old Lions narrative. I said all year, and I'll continue.
Like the new LOL Mets thing that you can add to the list is at least when they've lost in the past, they were like the inferior team,
right?
Beat out. This now is like you were the better team that lost, and that hurts more in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But at least it's a different type of hurt. But like that'll be the new thing to add to the list that the Mets, the 101 win Mets choked. I'd rather that's a real choke. People who talk about the other teams don't understand the mechanics and the inner workings of that franchise to know how much that team was overachieving. This you had the better pitchers, you had the better offense, at least for months and months at a time, and they didn't play. This is a choke.
Yeah, well, that's we talked about it. I never, even when you guys lost out on the division, I never viewed that as a collapse. It was easy for people to say, oh, they blew a 10.5 game lead. Yeah, in fucking May. Like, do you know how much this stuff changes? Like, that you lost out to a team that played at 115 win pace for 4 months. Like, that's not a collapse to me. This is closer to a collapse than.
We've been using the term collapse with the Mets. Collapse and choke has kind of been the wrong term because even if you look at the Phillies. If you look back at history, that was just a Phillies team that was underachieving because they eventually go on to win the division like 6 straight years with that same fucking lineup and that same team. They should have never even been losing in 2007. This is like they were the better team. Although I will say, like the only thing that will haunt me a little bit is the Padres beat the shit out of us in the regular season and the postseason. And if we had won the division and got to face the Phillies, who we beat 14 times out of 19 times, like you got to think that might be different. But this, I mean, the Dodgers beat the absolute fuck out of the Padres. So it would be the same thing like us facing the Phillies.
Yeah. And we also discussed it earlier that 07, I mean, you can't lose a 7-game lead with 21. I think it turned out that Phillies team was way better than people thought. And
that's right. Like
next year.
But at the beginning, it was almost like Wainwright's curveball in 06. So it was like, how do you fucking strike out there, Beltran? Well, it turns out that he was facing a fucking Cy Young pitcher. Where that's like a microcosm of it because the Phillies, it was like, how did they blow 7 and 17? Well, if you really look at it, it went on to be one of the most explosive offenses for in NL East history. That's how.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Mets also lost it. I'm not excusing.
No, they spit it up, but god damn, those Phillies teams were good.
So
Holy
good.
shit.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the inarticulate point I'm trying to make is that this year was different, where it was like, no, DeGrom and Scherzer should be able to beat Darvish and Snell, and like this offense should go toe to toe with these guys, and they just, they did it last night, and they just didn't again. They needed to do it one more time. And you know what? I think if you do it one more time and you make it to the division, then it's like whatever. You lose that round, like teams lose. But this feels like this will be, people will debate, do you even count this making the playoffs? Does this even matter?
No, it counts. You won 100 games. Like you made the fucking playoffs. Like people who say that are out of their minds. But
it's gone a long way to make the division.
I think your entire offseason plan needs to be like, I don't usually like putting it in such simplistic terms. Your entire offseason plan needs to be, how do we get past the Atlanta Braves? Because we aren't having this conversation if you win the division.
I know.
Right. So and look, dude, it's a tough hill to climb. They're not going anywhere. That's what sucks for you guys. It's like, it's not like the AL Central or one of these divisions where there's more ebbs and flows. They've won 5 in a row and they're set for like the next 6 years. Like they're that good.
Their fucking young superstars are going to keep signing contracts for no money.
After 2 seasons, right? Like it's Anthopoulos is a genius. That's they are one of the best organizations in sports. It's very similar to kind of what the Padres are going through, where it's like they're not a bad organization, but you're going to keep looking up at the Dodgers because they just keep doing what they do. Yeah, I mean I think that my guess, and I from what I remember, I want to say you guys have a very good farm system right now, or at least in the top 5 to 10.
Well, they had Alvarez. Well, I don't know, man. Alvarez was heavy. It was top heavy with a guy like Alvarez.
Yeah.
Overall, and Vientos was supposed to be good. He didn't really do much. Beatty and Vientos and Alvarez are like your 3 guys that they're really relying upon. They have no pitching in the minors, none, which scares me because Scherzer and DeGrom. It was basically this year was like you got to get it done because who knows,
all in,
and I know that like the wise move for the long-term financial health of the team is probably to let Jacob DeGrom walk. I personally, if I'm Steve Cohen, I don't let that be the PR. I don't let that be the headlines. I don't let him go win a World Series somewhere else. I just throw him a bag. And if he has shitty years from 35 to 40, like, so what? Because you're going to own this team for the next 50 years. So I would do it. I would do that. But, if they're not going to be aces, then what is this team? Then you got to that was the idea here. You got a good lineup like that hit and made contact, and then you had these great starters. And if you don't have that, you got to go get a big bat. I wish they were in on Schwarber more. For 2 reasons, because he's a Met killer, so it would have been 2 birds, 1 stone.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know why Schwarber was not as coveted by as many teams.
He's been like that his whole career, though. He's always been underappreciated. The guy, I understand analytically he doesn't grade out to be some elite player. The guy hits 40 home runs every fucking year.
And also, you're not okay, fine. That he's not some elite player. It's not like he's making elite money. It's not like you're giving.
No, even now he's not. Yeah, I mean, would you? I think realistically, next year, I think Scott Harris is probably going to trade Tarek Skubal. I would, if you don't have any pitching in your farm system, Skubal for Alvarez straight up, I would take. I don't know if he would.
I mean, Alvarez, we've had such bad catching since.
That's true. McCann's been awful.
It feels like we want to see. We want to see if he's got the goods and see if he can get it out.
And Skubal is going to be out for a while to start next year, so it'll take a minute to decide. But I mean, I just question the timetable with Scherzer and DeGrom if you do re-sign them.
Right. It's like, unless it's like a you're gonna go get fucking Otani and gear up like one last run.
I mean,
Otani having that no trade with everybody but the Mets is, I mean, that's in there for a reason.
that can be waived too. I mean,
Yeah, it's an interesting thought of like, if I was Steve Cohen, I ideally, or not ideally, but just realistically would have bought this team and been like, we're going to do this the right way. We're going to take our time and build it and go at the right pace until we can be a sustainably good team like the Dodgers are, right? But when God gives you, a chance to get Max Scherzer and God gives you one more year left with Jacob deGrom, you gotta go for it. And if you've got a shot at that, the problem is like, do you really is there a reason to think that you're going to get 35 starts out of these two guys and they're going to be the horses that can do it?
mm-hmm.
Can you?
And when they were healthy, they were. I mean, but the thing is, you got mid-30s pitchers. There's going to be a breakdown.
That's the thing is, whether it's injury or not, when you're old, injury is not an excuse because it's part of who you are. If you're young and you get hurt, it's like, fuck. Our 25-year-old would have dominated you, but he got injured. It's like, that's what you get for relying on old players.
Yeah.
So that's it's not.
It's the inverse of what you guys went through post 2015 when all of your starters get injured. Where it's like, what can you say? A 26-year-old fucking Matt Harvey can't stay healthy. Like it's like what you're talking about, a 37-year-old who has more innings than maybe any other pitcher in baseball outside of Verlander. You're gonna run into those problems.
Is that one start back? When Max was perfect through 6, it was like, all right, he's not hurt. He's back.
Yeah.
He's healthy. And Jake was always a little bit sus, but like even as we saw last night, mediocre Jacob deGrom is better than like anyone on the planet.
Right.
But another season of this, he's ran out of gas the last couple of years. Like why,
You need to find a way to do something similar to what the Braves do and retain and develop younger players. For a one-off this year, I understood it, but relying on mid-30s pitchers, it's not a sustainable thing. As much as I love him, and I like, man, like deGrom he's got 2 Cy Youngs. He's not exactly slumming it, but holy shit, dude. If I could see one guy just not ever get injured his entire career, I think it'd be him.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, he would.
I remember in 2021, he had that game against the Nats where he went 9 scoreless, 15 strikeouts and 2 hits, and thinking this might be the best stuff I've ever seen. Like, he was just 102 every fastball. Yeah. Down to 1, man. Well,
I just tweeted it out because I know the people like to watch my misery. So I just tweeted out the link. I'm going to cut you loose and just go through this one on my own.
No, I get it. Kev, and I'll text you later.
All right, brother.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it, man. I love you, dude. Yep. See you.
All right. If you're still watching, you're either one of the diehards who have been riding with us all year, or you are one of the Braves fan haters, or the Yankee fan haters, or the Mets fan haters, or Team Frank, or whatever. I get it. It's the gig. I understand it. So you get to watch my face for the 5 millionth fucking time as a sports fan, for the trillionth time as a Barstool employee. I know what you want, so I'll give it to you. But motherfucker, does this one suck? It's just a whole other level, Even, last year when I used to say we're up 4 games, deep down they don't have the goods. And there's flaws with this team, but you can't build a perfect baseball team. That's what's so annoying about the Mets fans this year, who are like, well, we need, what are you gonna do about this bullpen and another bat? It's like, all right, they're short a bat and a bullpen. Like, it's, you can't build an absolutely flawless team. This team is not a bad team. It's a team that's not performing, because for months and months and months they played well. If you want to just say that you think this team is bad and that they were like lucky for 6 straight months. Okay, and that's where you can do. Frank was right, and that's where you can pull up your tweets that you can be so proud of, saying, "I told you so." But it's like, well, they shoved it down your throat for fucking 6 straight months, and in the end, you were right. But it's not. That's not really the truth. That's not the circumstances. When you go 101 wins and you always bounce back, it's just not the truth. You can say that the offense is streaky and that they didn't show up at times. You can say that this team wasn't built for, they never had a really sustained winning streak. It's like, I think the highest winning streak they had was six games in a row, but they also had, runs of like 16 of 17. So that's a pretty goddamn good run in its own right. So there's again, not the perfect team. What it comes down to, though, is at the end doing it, like performing like that. If they played like they were at the very end of August, and they took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, they were unstoppable. They were fighting off the Braves every fucking night. I don't care what Braves fans say now. Now they did it. They can, say whatever they want. There was no way that Braves fans thought that they wouldn't, that they had, like they absolutely thought they would have caught us by that point. And it was the end of August, and they beat the Dodgers, and they were holding on to first, and everything was good. And there was no reason other than dumb bullshit, old narratives, and bringing up things from 10 years ago. There was no reason to think that this team was as bad as the Frank Flemings of the world will have you believe. They were good. They were really good. They were fucking awesome. And if they just didn't have another awesome team alongside them, this isn't happening right now. But they did. And so this is.
Pitching, defense, base running, most importantly, timely hitting for the San Diego Padres was a key to their success this weekend.
Starting pitching made a comeback in this postseason. Dominant starting pitching. Story through much day. San Diego Kid. Performance of a lifetime. Two base runners.
Two
As complete a game as some
two base runners, bro.
we played all year.
You get one hit.
1 through 9 contributes offensively.
And, it's like you can look at that as an outsider and be like, this team, that these guys stink. And if you're a fan like Frank, you look at that and say, like, they don't have heart or whatever. It's just the furthest thing from the fucking truth, because they basically played playoff baseball since goddamn June 1st, when every single night the Braves were making their move, and every single time they answered the bell, and it just like they just ran out of gas. And I don't know if that's something where, like, Lindor and Pete and those guys played every fucking game. It's not. I was gonna say, like, maybe those guys were out of gas. It's not that. They did their fucking job. No, nobody did their job tonight, but overall those guys kept hitting. Maybe it is something where you need. It's like another bat or another 2 or something that takes some of the pressure off. But they handled it every time all year, and then they just didn't. And that's sports, man. But for so long, as a fan of these teams in the city, it's not just sports. It's sports. You have to deal with the fact that the other team is playing, and you have good luck and bad luck. But on top of it, you have the ownership, and bad coaches and managers, and all that. And that we eliminated that from the equation, and it worked so fast. And then the team was there. And then it just becomes sports where, you get beat by a worse team. A team has your number. I mean, the Padres beat the shit out of us in the regular season. They did it again. If it was another team, maybe the Mets win the wild card. Maybe they don't, though, because you just went cold for the first week of October.
Ready to get it going. This is the first step. These guys, tough team over there.
There's something about the team too, being like so discounted at every turn, and you so many people will categorize this as like the Mets proving those people right, or that they weren't, that they were lesser than they were. And that's the worst part, is like if you watch them every single night, there's only like one person in the world who watched them every single night and still talk shit about them. That's that fat idiot Frank. Everybody else who watched them, who really watched them, like knows that they answered the bell so many times. And even in October when they were struggling, like they should have beat the Cubs and they didn't. But even after that, they still did enough. They were still right there with the Braves. I mean, everybody sucks the Braves' dick, and the Mets were right there with them. So you can't say that they didn't do enough. I mean, of course, in the end, ultimately they didn't. But like, it's not like they were so far off. It was not like their performance was, a September collapse where they blew by them and left them in the dust. They were right there. And if you just tuned in for these 3 games for the first time, or if you just listened to Frank, or you watched Dan and Dave troll and poke and bait, you think that it was like same old Mets, but it fucking wasn't, man. It was so the opposite of the same old Mets. It was so different. Like all of the comebacks we were on the right side of, and all of the blown saves we were on the right side of. I mean, what was like our big blown save this year? I don't think we even fucking have one.
Came maybe in week 1.
Yeah.
I think it was
like every year there's like a dozen where we have a lead in the 8th or 9th and we blow it. And that just poof was gone because Diaz was there. And like usually we have one pitcher and the rest is like, what do we know? Like Glavine, Maine, pray for rain, where you have 5 aces, but they're all injured all the time. This was the total opposite. It was a story of, I mean, when Jacob deGrom went down, I predicted they were going to win 84 games. I was like, we're fucked. And then Tyler McGill steps up. And at points, Cookie Carrasco becomes like a Cy Young winner again. And Ty Walker has a great first half. It was so different. And if you just look at this and judge them on this, then you're a fucking asshole for that. You can say it wasn't different. In the end, the result's not different. But for so long, for every step of the way, it was different. And if you listen to the podcast with us, social media is one thing. You'll have people who, disagree with me forever and talk about the trade deadline and say that this team wasn't clutch or whatever. But I think the podcast listeners and the real followers and the real fans who just understand like the human elements and don't treat this as just like fucking robots out there. I think all of those people looked at this team and watched this team. And if you're old enough to compare it to years gone by, it absolutely was so different. I mean, and that's what sucks. Like every year you don't win the World Series, it doesn't matter whether you're a 2017 that collapses or a 2022 team who wins 101 games and then just loses in the playoffs. Like the result is just the same. So it doesn't matter. Oh, this team was different. Well, it wasn't in the end, and that's all that matters. But it does matter in the sense of like the trajectory of the franchise and where you're headed and where you're going. What sucks is that it's not a team that you can just replicate next year. Like you need to make some changes. You got to get a bigger bat. You can't rely on DeGrom and Max for a full season. There's a lot of free agents. In a way, I almost wonder if that's good. Like I've always said, in 2006, they got too good, too fast, and the Wilpons were able to just be like, this is a World Series caliber team. If they get it done, they get it done. If they don't, that's just sports. And it's like, no, you were building something, and then all of a sudden you decided to stop, and you tried to just plug a Band-Aid here or there. I don't think Cohen will be the type to just be like, go get one Band-Aid and we're good. I think they're going to be proactive. I think they're going to realize you can't rely on 38-year-old pitchers for more than, one good season like this. Like, you have to go get a core. You have to go get a core that can, do it for years to come. And you got that with Lindor and Pete and Jeff and Marte. Escobar and Canna were nice surprises at times. I don't think you can rely on them to be like championship type players. They can be, your 7th and 8th hitters, but you got to go get one more big bop, one more big bat, a real DH, a constant DH. And I think Cohen is going to go on a rampage over this, kind of like he's salivating to go get a guy like Ohtani or whatever, but it sucks, bro. It sucks so much.
Hitting some big homers, hitting some big key hits as well. So, it's going to take all of us to win. Yeah, full team effort to say the least.
They just always were able to win 2 out of 3. And so when you had a 3-game series and you split, it was like, well, if I'm a betting man, I think they were favored every single game. And if I was a betting man, how many series do you play in a season? It's got to be close to like 40 of them, 50 of them, 50 with a couple 4 games and 2 games. And I think they won 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, probably like 40 fucking times. There was a run where they hadn't lost a series in like months. And then they just always found a way. And then they just did. Baseball is so stupid, man. Who decided to make it so fucking long? If it's like 140 games even, this team's fine. But 162 plus is just so fucking hard, man. Baseball is like life, dude. It's so long and it's so hard. And even when you do like everything right or do absolutely like the best you can and do it to a high ability, in the end, it can still just absolutely fuck you and ruin you and make you incredibly deeply sad. That's life, and that's baseball. There's nothing you can do about it. Even when you get a lot of money, doesn't matter whether you're a person or a team. Even when you make all the right moves and you think things are going to go great, it just might not, because life throws you a curveball, literally or metaphorically, and you just have to keep going. And it's long, and it never stops. And it just keeps beating you down. And then maybe one day you get a win. But you probably don't. Because it's just not the cards for you. All right. Well, thanks to everybody who watched and listened and supported and bought t-shirts and watched live streams and all that shit. It was an awesome time. It was so fun. Even when it was hard and like, even the bad times were like, weren't that bad. They were nerve-wracking, but they always ended up being like somewhat fun because you ended up on the right side. And for so long, you were able to talk shit and you answered the bell for so long. And then we weren't. And so it's going to be a long one. There are teams that people love to bask in their failure. And usually it's World Series winning teams. But if it's not, the Yankees, Red Sox, Astros, Dodgers, teams like that, you take those guys away. Everybody hates those guys because they win. The first team right after that tier is the Mets. People love to hate the Mets and love to make fun of the Mets. And I think it's because we live in New York. I think it's because we're loudmouths. They love to hate. And so they're going to take all the shots and they're going to dump on you as long as they can and as hard as they can. And it will be one of the longest and worst off seasons. And almost worse because like 2015, we knew it was our chance and we blew it. And it was like, whatever, this team next year is going to suck. And we know that. we're going to go back into hiding. And like this one's almost worse in a way because we're going to be chomping at the bit to get back out there. And whether it's this year or the next year or the next year, eventually they will get to the promised land. And when that happens, you'll be as loud and fucking obnoxious as you want because of times like right now where you're going to get dumped on relentlessly by people who should just be like, oh man, like the way that people are like embracing the Mariners, like a team like that. That's the kind of support the Mets should get, and they just don't because people love to hate on the Mets. And so when they are good, make sure you shove it down their fucking throat and gloat as loud as you possibly can to make up for times like this where they will love to kick you when you're down. And if it's not this year, maybe it's next year, maybe it's the following year. When Cohen first signed, I said, I gave myself 10 years. I said, we were rejoicing, saying, within the next 10 years, I will guarantee a Mets victory. And we're at basically 2-1 sort of in a way, if you think about letting, ownership take its full course or taking full control. And so the timeline moved up real fast and people got real greedy and real spoiled real fast. So whether it's sooner or later, when it does happen one day, soak it in. But it's not today. And it's not this year. And it's going to fucking suck. And I'm telling you right now, brace for the big one. Because the New York Yankees are going to somehow win the World Series this year. Just because certain things are scripted and are written in the stars. And it's going to be the ultimate tease for the Mets. And it'll finally be the year the Yankees get over the hump. And it'll be the absolute worst offseason you can imagine. And that's where we're at. So, gotta believe.